in what they did, and that they were sending a package off to Newtown. And it was pretty, it's two little 10-year-old girls making such a difference in the world, and what they're doing is ongoing. You know, they're doing pet food banks and doing all kinds of things to continue to help. And so I'm going to have Zach bring up their picture. I've got one picture of them on their most recent spree. They're having, actually in Seaside Heights, a distribution day. Look at all that stuff. Look at the two of them way in the background there. They're just absolutely gung-ho. And, you know, when I say that people should get involved, this is exactly what I mean. It's a most amazing thing to have two 10-year-old girls pouring their hearts into helping animals, helping people help animals, and getting so much done and having so much support. What I would ask of all of you is they are hoping to get 1,000 likes on their Facebook page. Now, it's the Do It Duo for Pets, and just look them up. This afternoon they were up to like 930 something likes. I think we can kind of help them out. 1,000 likes shouldn't be hard for them to get for the amazing stuff that they did and keep doing. You know, Alex and Lucy, just amazing. What the epitome of what every kid should be doing. Every child, every adult should be taught respect for the animals, and like I said, I always preach getting involved, and they certainly are, and I give kudos to their parents and their families for supporting them and making it possible, because obviously two little 10-year-olds need to be driven around to do what they've got to do, and they're just an amazing bunch, and I'm so impressed, and I'm honored to know them from a distance, and I can't wait to have them here so that we can all meet and get their spin on things. But there they are, Alex and Lucy, the Do It Duo for Pets. Go like their Facebook page, Do It Duo for Pets, and check them out because they are simply amazing. All right, so we will take the camera back, and staying in the vein of getting involved, you know, again, I always say, check your local shelter, see what you can do, you know, find out what they need and try to help them out. The New Haven Animal Shelter is holding a volunteer orientation, and that will be Sunday, April 7th at 11 a.m. What they're asking for is a commitment from those of you who are interested in getting involved for a minimum of 1 to 2 hours per week for at least 6 months. You know, they run these orientations twice a year in April and October, and you know, they'd like to think that you're going to get involved, you're going to stay involved. You have to be 18 years old or over, and you will have the opportunity to work with cats or dogs. You know, you can hang out with the cats and help socialize them and give them a lap to purr on and do all those kinds of things that, you know, kitties love to do, play and love. I know Nancy's in there, she's like all happy. Or get involved with the dogs, you know, dog walking, bathing, you know, doing pictures and videos so that they can get the word out about these animals. Networking, they're also looking for fosters. You know, it's one thing to think about or talk about fostering, but then you start getting all that hands-on and you fall in love with one of them, and yeah, you know, you can take that animal home and help it along its way. So, you know, if you're someone who thinks you can foster, that's definitely an offshoot of being a volunteer. They're looking, you know, for people who can help with adoption and other events. And, you know, you never know where it'll lead. It's a wonderful opportunity. The orientation itself is going to last probably about an hour and a half. And they're saying just show up. You don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to make any reservation. Just show up at the shelter. It's 81 I'll spell the name of the street, not sure I'm going to say it right, Fournier, Fournier Street in New Haven. If you require further information, their email address is info@findafriendforlife.org. That's info@findafriendforlife.org. And really, it's a fabulous opportunity to get your feet wet and get hands-on experience, see what a shelter is like. New Haven is one of those very progressive shelters that offers the public to come in. So many don't. So many shelters cry liability, and they don't want people handling the animals or getting near them or getting involved, and it's nothing but red tape. This is a fabulous opportunity. Like I always say, check out your local shelter, see how you can get involved. Here, this is handed to you. This is being handed to you on a silver platter. They're inviting people to come in. I volunteered for a shelter for quite some time, and you see the good, you see the bad, but there's no better feeling than knowing that you're doing something to make a difference to these animals. And, New Haven, some of the animals I profiled on the show have come from there. There was Ivy and Chili and Wrigley and so many more. Coco, I think, is Coco from New Haven, or I'm not even sure anymore. I've lost, Speedo's laughing at me, I've lost track of everybody. But, they've had wonderful dogs. Waldo was from New Haven. We all remember Waldo. I loved him. But anyway, that's where some of those wonderful dogs are from. So if you can, there's actually an event on Facebook, and I have that posted on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page. And check it out. Consider it. They say they're looking for a 6-month commitment. It's one of those things. Yeah, I'm sure if something were to come up, they're not going to send you to jail because you only did 4 of 6 months. But in the long run, they're looking for commitment. It's not like New Year's resolutions. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym, and 2 weeks later, nobody's going to the gym anymore. And they don't want to start out with 25 people saying yes, I want to help, and 2 weeks into it, they've only got 3 and they're back at square one. So that's I think pretty much where that's coming from. Commitment is kind of a hard thing to get out of people, but if you can do it, trust me, you won't be sorry. Anyway, this little phrase has meant a lot this week. It's that time again, the Furever Rescued Calendar contest. Now, as I certainly don't let anybody forget, Mojo made the calendar last year, and let's have his picture, please, Zach, of my Mojo, who is Mr. October. And can't wait till, I keep saying, it's going to be October all year in my house, but I've been playing fair, and I've had everybody come through month by month like they should. But the Furever Rescued Calendar contest, all you need to do is go to the Furever Rescued Foundation Facebook page, and you can click through. You have to, if you're just going to vote, Mojo's not in it this year, he can't be, because he won last year. But if you're just going to vote, you have to click on the event and then make sure you like the page, and you can cast your vote. You can vote for the same dog once every 24 hours. You can vote for more than one dog. That's allowed. But it's really exciting to watch the heat already. It promises to be another fabulous calendar. I mean, everybody I know has thought that this year's was absolutely beautiful, and it really is. Jessica Price of Paws of Grace, who puts the calendar out, she puts her heart and soul into it, and she's collected some people around her who really do a great job. And I can exclude myself on that because yes, I did work on the calendar this year, but I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. She's got some very talented individuals doing a whole lot of work there. And I will tell you, there are some, rather famous local celebrity types that are already entered in the calendar contest. If you remember Joey Pepper, who was on the show. Zach, I'll take the calendar. I'll take the camera back. I'll take the calendar back, too. But anyway, Joey Pepper, who was on the show over the summer, is already entered. And last I saw, he was actually in the lead. There's a dog, a pit bull named London, who's missing his front legs, and he is in the calendar contest. He's, I think, in second place. There are 2 other local dogs, one named Moose and one named Mickey, and they're holding their own. There's 3 dogs right now that are way out in front, and you know, fortunately for Mojo last year too, there are 12 spots that claim winning places. You know, 12 months in a year, there's a dog for each month. So it's not necessarily about who comes in first, but who comes in between first and 12th. So good luck to everybody who is entered, and good luck to everybody who will enter. And it'll be curious to see if Joey, Pepper, and London make it, because like I said, they're kind of like the local celebrities that are in there. And you know, everybody loves Joey Pepper, that's for sure. That's still to date the most watched show in Pound Posse Presents history, I might add. Anyway, last time we were on, I talked about some dogs through 20 Paws to Share. We had Mama, and if we can have Mama up there, Zach. Mama is still in boarding. Poor baby was rescued with her puppies. They were all adopted, and they left sweet Mama behind. Like I said, she's in boarding. She's dog selective. She, you know, will probably do better with a dog that's not so threatening, but she really does need a home of her own or a foster just to get her out of boarding and happily on somebody's couch again, whether it's, you know, just a stopover or a permanent situation. You know, dogs crave love and they crave affection, and they need to be in a home. They will start to deteriorate after a while if they're in that kind of situation. It's just not how they're meant to live. And she's such a sweetheart. She's such a good dog. She deserves to have a happily ever after. And that's all that the girls want for her. And her Facebook page is Saving Mama, and you can check her out there. And another dog who is in desperate need at this point, speaking of those who, you know, are starting not to do well, etc., and so on, is Stella. And if we can get Stella up, we will have a look at her beautiful face. That's Stella. Stella was found on the streets of Queens, New York. She was given to someone who gave her to someone who turned her loose on the streets. So, you know, of all things to do, that is just, you know, to me it's unimaginable. I go off on my tangents about what is wrong with people. But she's in a training boarding facility, and, you know, she's getting very depressed. She's getting very stressed. She needs a home or a foster, a place to go, because, you know, she's just not handling it well. And you really can't, you've got to be able to understand that, because she's a sweet, playful, happy little dog. You know, right now she needs to be the only dog, and I'm not sure, you know, really why the history of that is, but it's irrelevant. It's just the facts. And, you know, they're really trying to push for a foster or forever home for her as well, because, you know, she's just not thriving, and that's not great. Her Facebook page, here's the theme now, Saving Stella. So if you check that out, you can find out more about her and follow her story as well. So the last dog we've got, also a 20 Paws to Share dog, is Baby. And if we can take a look at Baby, poor Baby, her family lost their home, and they thought they'd found someone to care for her. You know, they were doing their best to try to support her by continuing to supply food and et cetera and so on. And it came to light that the people that they placed her with were selling her food, feeding her nothing but bones, beating her, and generally not taking care of her. So the second that they found that out, needless to say, they pulled her back and thought they found another safe haven for her, but it turned out to be another dangerous place. So the poor thing has pretty much bounced around. Fortunately, She landed in a foster home, and she's being well cared for now. But she does need, she does need a home. Unfortunately, foster homes, they're critical, but it's not a home. And, sometimes a foster home has that need to move on, and I'm not sure what their case is, but they're definitely, trying to push her at this point as well, too, because she's waited, I guess, for a while, and she's had a rough patch, and she just deserves to be happy and loved. And not that she isn't in her foster home, but, forever home's even better. So if you are interested in any of these dogs, Mama or Stella or Baby, you can contact 20 Paws to share. They do have their Facebook page. They also have 2 email addresses that you can contact them: 20pawsrescue@gmail.com. That's the words all spelled out: 20pawsrescue@gmail.com, or info@20pawsrescue.com. And again, that's all spelled out, the words, info@20pawsrescue.com. I'll take the camera back, and, if you can foster any of these dogs, it certainly would make a huge difference. Well, for Baby, it's actually an adoption, so it's more for Stella and Mama, who kind of really just need to get out of the situations that they're in, the boarding facilities. A boarding facility is kind of like a last-ditch place for a dog to go when you don't have a home to place it in. I covered it on the show where I talked about Mama. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. You've got to save a dog, and you don't have a place for it to go. So you put it in boarding, or you put it in a training facility, or what have you. And, you hope that you can find a place for it to go. Many rescues don't have a building anymore, and kennels, and a place to house dogs. They work all on foster basis, and, it's the fosters that are their lifeline. So, a lot of consideration goes into fostering. Yes, it's you have to be able to care for the animal as well as your own. You have to be able to, if you've got the room, but maybe, you're worried about the vetting, or you're worried about food. Certainly with 20 Paws to Share, they do cover the vetting, and, some places cover food, some places don't. They will if that's the only thing holding you back, and they feel that you're a qualified foster home. First of all, you can't just be anybody, for a lot of these places, and just, oh yeah, I want to foster a dog, without them having a feel for who you are. So yes, they're going to check you out, and things can be worked out if those are the only things that are holding you back from fostering. And again, like I said on the last time, if you're going to foster an animal, you have to choose just as carefully as if you were going to adopt it, because it has to be a match into your home. It has to be a fit with your other animals. It can cause a lot of havoc, a lot of unnecessary heartbreak if you bring an animal into your house and it doesn't get along with your other animals. It's going to fight with your dog. It's going to chase your cat. You have to know, and there's no foolproof way to know, but you have to make the best educated guess that you can, and assess the situation. It's just as important. A lot of these dogs, people pull them from the last minute at a pound or a kill shelter or what have you, and they get it home, and 32 seconds into it, it's not working out. You can't be driven fully by the urgency that some of these dogs are presented with. I mean, yes, it's a life or death situation, but unless you are prepared to manage the what ifs and the what could happens, and if the dog doesn't get along, what am I going to do? You have to have that all planned out. Unfortunately, again, and I've written an article about it, I've preached it on Facebook, you have to do it with your head as well as your heart. Of course you don't want to see the animals die, but you get it in your house, it's not working out, where are you going to put it? You know, you can't just throw the dog back in the kill pound because they're going to kill it. You can't turn it loose on the street because you just can't do that. Nobody's going to necessarily rescue you for having made a spontaneous decision that backfired. So yes, I want you to consider to foster, I want you to consider to get involved, but you've got to do it wisely, because otherwise, really, what's supposed to happen to that dog if something goes wrong? You know, it's just, you have to think it through. Anyway, I'm going to get off of that little soapbox, and I'm going to ask Zach to show Herbie. For those of you who know Herbie, and maybe some of you who never saw Herbie before, Herbie was abused and starved, found skin and bones, I think, on somebody's front lawn in Ohio. He was a hot mess. You can obviously see there's, you know, his features are misshapen, and part of that, I think, was the abuse. And from what I read, he had inoperable cancer in his sinus cavity. He was blind. He was, you know, he was a hot mess. And there were a lot of people who worked very hard to bring him back, so to speak, and, you know, show him love that he probably never knew in his life. And the man in the picture with him is Dr. Rick Braz, who did bring him into his home, and he cared for him, and he loved him with all his heart. Unfortunately, Herbie, the cancer got the best of him, and as of yesterday afternoon, Herbie went, as we say, to the Rainbow Bridge with Dr. Braz by his side. There's a video out there that I was too pained to watch. But thanks to Dr. Braz for everything he did do for Herbie, because he did at least know love in the end. And, you know, it never fails. I go through all this in my head, and I get all choked up when I start talking about it on the air. Anyway, rest in peace, Herbie. Thank you to Dr. Braz. You know, some things can't totally be fixed, but certainly it's a beautiful thing when people give of their hearts to try to make the change and make it better and show these animals the things that they never knew before. So I will take the camera back. I promise you there are no tears. I'm just choked up. And I'm going to laugh about it because that's, you know, seriously, I am such a hot mess when it comes to stuff like that. Anyway, you know, there's a lot people can do. And like I said, even though sometimes, you know, an animal's gone through some great amounts of suffering, for them to know love in the end is just an immeasurable, wonderful thing. So when I say please get involved, I mean that with all my heart. It's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing you ever do, but I'll tell you, it'll do your heart a world of good. So anyway, at this point, peace, love, and always dogs. Until next week, I will see you. Have a wonderful week. Keep those pets inside. It's cold. And good night. Thank you for watching.